go get them again.
Welcome back to another unboxing first impression video on my channel. Today we're delving into one of my favorite brands of all time, the House of Guerlain, and this is part of their Absolus D'Orient collection. This one right here is Musc Noble, of course, Noble Musk. Now the Absolus D'Orient collection is no more. Yes, well, technically. Guerlain likes to play around with their Middle Eastern lineup. It used to be the ugly stepchild of the Guerlain lineup. I remember back in the day, a lot of people, of course, a lot of purists in the brand were like, no, this is not French perfumery. You know, they're really just going into these oud trends and things like that. So this lineup, which started here, you got Rose Nacré here, Songe. It was a 3-bottle collection, but and then it moved into here. And now it's a new collection, but yeah, it used to be one of those lines that the purists were like, Now, Musc Noble is not one of the sexy releases, we'll say. It's not one of the popular ones. It's not a Songe. It doesn't have the Santal Royal or anything like that. So it doesn't have that cachet, and getting a little harder to find these days now. And it didn't, at least from my thoughts here, didn't make the new collection as well. So it got axed. It got, well, kind of, sort of, because on the Canadian website, if I type in Google Guerlain Musc Noble, the Guerlain Canada website will show the page. You can click on it and you can actually buy it. It is on there for $250 Canadian. It's available. However, if you don't type it in and you just go on the Guerlain Canada website, and you're looking for this line, they are just going to show the new name of them and the 6 bottles of the Absolus Allégorias, which is the new branding of this lineup. So it technically it's still available, and it's an original bottle like this. And yeah, it's not an unboxing. I actually got this and Santal Royal in a Facebook group, actually a Canadian Facebook group. Someone was selling them both. And this one was much cheaper than that one, and I just put them as a bundle because that was the one that I wanted. I wanted the Santal. So there is a video coming up. I haven't unboxed this, eh? If I didn't, there will be one coming shortly. It was in the same pile, so it's in the, pretty sure. Oh man, my memory's serving me wrongly right now. I'm gonna have to take a look and see if I unbox. I don't think I did on the channel, so it is going to go back in the purgatory while this one's gonna go behind me here so I can finally start wearing it. But that's why there's no box, and there's no little ribbon either. It comes with a ribbon. That person, I guess, lost or removed the ribbon, and I never got it. So to my Canadians out there, if you're looking for Musc Noble because it's not in the new collection, it is available on the website. You just have to type it in like me. It's $250 Canadian. If you're looking into it or you want to resell it on eBay, go right ahead. But yeah, they got a new lineup, new bottles, and this is why there's so much to unbox here. You're seeing that there's a whole bunch here because they all got repackaged, and I got that little FOMO in me, and I'm like, oh, I better get the ones in the original packaging. So I got a whole bunch here that I have to unbox. So they go in the purgatory after this. This is the Patchouli Ardent. This is the Essence Mythique, which didn't make the new 6, and Épices Exquises. So we do have, and with Santal Royal, if my memory serves me right. So we got 4 unboxings on the channel from this collection. So we got a lot to do, honestly. But yeah, so now the collection is 6. It's called Absolus Allegoria, and it looks like the Aqua Allegoria bottles, basically like this with the beehive gold going through it. So Santal is in the new old collection. The Cuir comes back. Rose Nacré gets rebirthed into this one. The Oud comes back as well. The Patchouli and the Épices Exquises. So those are the ones that are in the 6 Absolus Allégorias now. So yeah, a little bit of rejigging from Guerlain from this line. I don't know, like usually with bottle changes, sometimes it comes with a reform. Probably now. A lot of these are fairly new, like the Patchouli and the Épices are fairly new fragrances. But yeah, let's get into the Musc Noble and see what I get here. If you're new here, welcome to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host, Mark. Hey, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button. Really appreciate the support, of course, looking at those numbers, the subscriber numbers moving forward, inching forward, and the likes are really are great on the channel at this moment. So let's take a look at the note breakdown. Let's see what this one is going to bring to us. I'm assuming, because this is a Middle Eastern line, that there is going to be a little bit of a Middle Eastern feeling with the musk. So in the top we have saffron. So there you go, right away, boom. Yeah, Middle Eastern note right there. We got aldehydes. Okay, so we got something a little brighter. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. Pink pepper, of course. Yeah, pink pepper is more of a designer-ish note personally for me. I don't see much out of the pink pepper being, you know, regal or anything like that. Now let's go into the mid. We got the musk, we got the rose and the geranium. So rose can bring you into that Middle Eastern side as well. Geranium can give you either minty facets, it can give you rosy facets among others. And in the base we had white musk. So we got musk and musk. In the base we also have leather. We have cedar, white amber, orris, and labdanum. So there is a lot going on in this base. What are we going to get as primaries in this base is something that we have to keep an eye on. Now, this was released back in 2018, so the nose, of course, was the in-house Perfume. There you are, sir. Pricing, we've already spoken about it. You know, depending on your region, your area, they could be doing the same thing as Canada, that you just have to type it in Google and it has its own little separate page. But if you go into the Guerlain website, you can't find it anywhere. So it's on its way out, honestly, at least from what I see. And as far as pricing, it was $250 Canadian when I looked at it, and that's of course retail. Now, some discounters may have bottles of this, you know, getting rid of old stock. I bought some of these in 2024 when the rejig was done. So yeah, so they still have the old presentations at some of these discounters as well. I think Joma Shop was one of the, yeah, I got the keys recently from Joma Shop. So just letting you know about that. But I can't guarantee you that you're going to get an old bottle or a new bottle and what the differences are, if any. Most likely, if it's a newer product, I would assume there wouldn't be much reformulation, if at all. So let's delve into it. Let's smell Musc Noble. Let's put it on strip first and see what we get, and then we'll put it on skin. It'll be my set of the day. Atomizer, fairly good on this one. Bottle feels we're trying to gauge on how much it's got a good amount. I would say a good 80% is still in here. So let's sniff this one. And yeah, from what I perceived or thought that this one was going to come into play, I thought it was going to be like a lighter release. You know, some of these are darker, denser, more woods and more, you know, denser notes like spices, heavy spices. Not that this one doesn't have it. It's very much muted. Light, very light as a fragrance, but it has, not that it has density, but it has thickness under all that. And what do I mean by lightness is that it really is emphasizing the musk. There's a little light rose and there's some piquant to it. So there's the saffrons in there definitely, and the pink pepper, very light on those brush strokes as well. Aldehydes as well. So there's a floral, musky, I wouldn't say feminine, very much towing the line of unisex. As some people may call this feminine a little bit more because the aldehydes and all that. But there's a, you know, immediately it's not one of the sexier versions of these releases where you get that wow factor immediately. I mean, it's not giving me that. It's more of a, right now what it's giving me, it's like, huh. Interesting concept, well built, and I like the flatness of it, but it has personality. And that's something that some fragrances, when you got that flatness, you lose the personality of the notes, right? And that is a good thing by your nose if they can, if the Perfume can do that, give you some rough edges, but still keep it flattened. It's a neat trick. Yeah, it has this soapiness to it. You know what it reminds me of a little bit? The aldehydes are playing a trick with me with musks where it smells like the metal part of an iron. You know, when you're ironing clothes and there's that metal part and you got that steam, it smells like that, like clean linens getting hit with some heat, but there's the steam, there's a little bit of that wateriness, but there's that metal touch as well from the iron. Very classy compared to some of these. I'm not saying that none of these are classy, but some of them are rougher around the edges, of course. So a bit powdery, yeah. The aldehydes, of course, has that fizziness that it brings out sometimes. It's sometimes more like champagne-like. I wouldn't say champagne-like here. Like in some fragrances, you're like, oh yeah, it's bubbly. Like it has that almost, yeah. Makes you kind of think of a cotton ball with almost has like some essential oils in the cotton ball where it has like some spicy facets and some woody facets and some floral facets, but it's all soaked in, so it's not as dense. It's not as thick as something, one of these, right? There's that creamy quality here as well, some sweetness a little bit, and that would be from mostly the orris root in here. The ambery, of course, touch. So right now, not one of the most, and like I said, it's like, I don't think, you know, now that I'm like deeper into this a little bit in this unboxing, I don't think it's the most attention grabbing from the line, but it's well done. And it has intrigue to it. And there's something to be said about, and I had that kind of same feeling with Ambre Eternel where, in my mind, when I bought Ambre Eternel, I was like, okay, it's going to be like a resinous, ambery, dark, syrupy thing, and I was way off. And I was kind of like, huh, like that little part of disappointment, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's well built, and you kind of warm up to the fragrance. This is where Musc and Nub kind of goes into it. There's a little bit of a leathery touch here as well. There's leather listed in the note breakdown and labdanum, so those can give out leathery aspects. However, I think it's coming from the saffron here because it's very light. Almost smells like kind of like a white leather jacket for a woman with a little bit of fur around it. You know, that muskiness. Not, you know, overly animalic or anything like that. You know, you're not getting civet, you're not getting castoreum here. But it has a little bit of those nuances that it's bringing me to a laundry room. It's bringing me to a white leather jacket with a little bit of fur. It's bringing me to a few places. It's soft. It's elegant. Musk isn't dirty or animalic, in my personal opinion, even though the leather is kind of giving you that it's like a gray fuzziness. A little spice, a little pink pepper action in here, a little bit of saffron, lots of rose. Like a spring dewy rose though. Not a dark thorny one, but the saffron, rose, and a little bit of those base notes, leather, white amber, orris, labdanum, will give you that Middle Eastern vibe still, but not on a playing field of like a Cuiretas or, you know, something a lot more, you know, Songe, right? Or Nacre, Rose Nacre. Those are straightforward. It will bring you to those. And that's where my mind goes when I'm going Middle Eastern. I'm looking for those rough edges. This is very much more classy than that. At the end of the day, Musca Noble is it's an okay release. It's a solid one. I think it's going to be one of those that, unfortunately, with like a collection like mine, and you got all this looking at you already, you know, I start thinking, okay, you know, where is this going to fit in? How much wearings am I really going to wear this thing? And you start looking at it, and you're just like, well, you know, I prefer this, that, and you know, you almost have to, and that's where the the fragrance channel helps me. And I haven't done this in a while in regards to giving you a full-fledged review, but you know, I should go back to those days, but like really just sitting down with a fragrance for, you know, and testing it. you know, for a couple weeks, right? Just really delving into a fragrance and giving it different seasons and different wearings. And that's where the magic happens, where you start to appreciate a scent more or less, depending. I think this one is well built, and that's where a lot of the magic is the build. Yeah, not a bad release from the House of Guerlain. Probably not the most magical one that I've smelt from the line, but happy that I could add it to my collection here. Now that you're my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below, good, bad, and the ugly. Let us know what you think about this fragrance. Of course, a older release, not that old, but I'm aging myself. 2018 is pretty old release in the fragrance game now. But yeah, let us know what you think about this one. And let us know in your region, is it available here in Canada? As you can tell, I haven't gone to a Guerlain boutique in the past, like ever since they released the new line, the, of course, Absolus D'Orient. I can just think of my thoughts that I go on the website and it's not available when I click on Guerlain, but when I type it in, it is there. So I think it's on its way out. I'd like to see those thoughts. If you have them, if you've been in a Guerlain boutique, have you seen this fragrance at all? Most of the time with Guerlain, if you go to like Paris or something like that, they will have it available for you, most of their releases. And as always, a great report fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.